This is part 3 of 7 signs you should fire your chat team immediately. So number 6, it cut me off on the last video on number 6, but doesn't have a pricing structure or listen to yours, right? So if there's no pricing structure, they don't have data, they don't do things off of data, the chatters probably aren't trained, and you're probably one of the newer like first creators that they're working with or something. Or listen to yours though. This is the key part. So we ask creators like, okay, what's your preferred price for like customs and like just different things, right? And so we get that, but if we don't agree with it, like if we know it's too cheap or we know it's like too expensive for like where they're at based off the data that we have, then we tell them. But if they're really set in stone, like, no, it has to be this much, we'll always abide by it, of course, because it's your page at the end of the day. It's not our page. But if we know that something could be better, we're also going to explain that and explain why. And I think that's how you work with people as a team. Like, that's how things are supposed to be. Because, like, for example, we had a creator, there was one type of content where she was like, this can only ever be sold over 160. Like, I don't ever want it to be sold for less than 160. And it's like, okay. And so what happened was that people didn't want to buy it for over 160. And the chatting was really good. But it's just that particular piece of content, like 70% of people wouldn't pay 160 for it, but they would pay 120 to 140 for it. That little difference they would pay. And so we explained, hey, look, you're leaving tons of money on the table here. Like, sure, we won't charge that much, but if we don't charge that much, you're gonna make way less. And she just stuck with it and was like, no, like I don't want. So it's like, okay, we won't do it, but we're gonna explain if it's like doesn't really make sense, like you can't charge that much for like this. And sometimes you can, right? Everybody's different, every situation is different, every type of content's different. It depends. So anyways, you need to have a pricing structure. Number 7 is doesn't emphasize daily posting or care. So this is kind of like a wrap up of everything. It has to do with systems. If they don't tell you, hey, we need wall content like every day, we need story content going up, we need this content, they don't care, then that means that they probably don't have systems or they don't understand, because we know that the daily wall posting makes a huge difference. And if we're not being provided that by the creators, we either have to tell them like, look, like we need this, or it's like, we can't work together if you don't want to maximize your revenue, because we all want to maximize revenue. And I only want to work with creators who really want to maximize the revenue. That's what we're trying to help you do, right? And so if your chat team's not trying to push you, not in an authoritative way, but an actual way of like, we need to grow as a team and this is what we know, then again, either they're new and they just don't have the data, and that's one thing, or 2, they just don't care or don't know, right? And so these are the 7 things that you should make sure if you're working with the chat team, they probably understand all of this if they're good.